Hello again, Dave.
Ian?
And we've lured someone else into our virtual blanket fort. Talon Homer, freelance auto writer, photographer, video editor. Welcome to Apex Adjacent.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we kind of reached out to you because you had put something up on Twitter saying that you were embarking on a new project that we thought was pretty exciting and kind of up our alley. You are doing a new series on movies that feature cars in a significant way. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So it's called Drivin Theater, like drive-in, but also driving. It's a double entendre. I'm obsessed with those, honestly. Everything's got to be like a pun with me. But yeah, it's got like 3.5 episodes this deep, 3.5 episodes deep at this point. 3 are already uploaded. 4 is in the works. I've already recorded that one in the process of editing it. So first 3 episodes, we got Too Fast, Too Furious. We got the Love Bug remake. Are you familiar with that one?
This is with Lindsay Lohan, correct?
No. It's with Bruce Campbell. It was.
Wait, Evil Dead Bruce Campbell?
Yes, it's a TV movie from 1997 that premiered on the ABC network.
What? Okay.
It's completely awful. But yeah, you can check out that episode if you want to know more about that. And then the third one was the Nick Cage Gone in 60 Seconds. And then number 4 coming up will be Torque, which is... Have you seen that?
No, I'm a big fan of the How Did This Get Made podcast where they talk about bad movies. And
I'm sure we'll talk about it on there.
Yes. Oh, Adam Scott? Is that the movie he's in? Yes. I love that guy. And he went on the show to talk about how bad it was. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I got to listen to that. I probably should have listened to that before I did the episode. But yeah, that is just, it's like a knockoff of the Fast and Furious, but with bikes and
yeah.
I remember that.
See?
I didn't realize Adam Scott was in that.
Now that I know that like the stage gate, like you're allowing like bad movies as well. Yeah. Like RIP to your inbox from me. I'm sorry.
All right. That's great. I always need more suggestions and whatnot. But yeah, Adam Scott and this like other lady I'm not too familiar with, they play FBI agents in that movie, but it's like hilarious because they look like college students. it makes zero sense. They're like, I don't know, it's like a whole bit they do because like they walk onto the scene and whatever cop on the crime scene is like, "You're FBI agents?" He's like wearing like a blazer over a t-shirt and the lady has like pink cornrows with like a Matrix leather jacket.
Yes. All right.
What's so funny about that is that Adam Scott wouldn't be a convincing FBI agent now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. I mean, he looks the same now, except he's got like frown lines. That's pretty much the only difference.
Right. That's bizarre.
This is an excellent idea for a series. Like, what brought you to this? Like, what fired these synapses to create this?
I mean, I'd like to say like it was 100% just creatively shooting out of my head, but not really. I mean, most of what I like to watch on YouTube is like really like in-depth kind of reviews or essays on media and things like that. So I thought I would take a crack at it myself. And then, there's plenty of like brilliant people that I mostly interact with on Twitter, but who, do auto writing, do, their own shows to this effect. And I figure I could bring them into the fold and hopefully, we make something entertaining.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And I think it's good too, because everyone who's into cars and that sort of stuff has some like secret, like in-depth knowledge of one of these pieces of media, right? Like, the story that I always like to tell is, it's not cars, but it's kind of adjacent to this, is when I was like 10 years old, 10, 11, I had 2 VCRs in the house, and I made what nobody calls the Ian cut of Top Gun, which was all of the fighter jet scenes and no storyline whatsoever.
Wow. So did you just do like play, record, stop?
Yes.
That just to,
Yes.
wow.
Like
Yep.
Ian's lo-fi supercut of Top Gun.
It was like 10 minutes of fighter jets flying around and one person flipping the bird, and then like that's the whole movie.
I mean,
you could put that on YouTube nowadays. It would probably get some views.
I know. Of all
You don't get a
the shit
copyright
that my
strike.
mom kept of mine, that has not surfaced yet. But I know
fire
it
up
exists.
iMovie, buddy. We need to see this magic.
Yeah. Have you seen that Van Halen Dreams music video that's just like Blue Angels footage, like with the music playing on top of it? It's so lazy. It's
No,
not
but
even
that
synced to the music.
doesn't
You gotta
surprise
check
me.
that.
Somebody got paid $500,000 to make that.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
to edit that little bit of sound out. Right there. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. As long as you're not suffering through an earthquake right now. Yeah.
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 But yeah, you know that Van Hagar song "Dreams." It's just that song playing
Right.
over jets, just. And I feel like they use the same shots like over and over too, because they probably didn't have enough to fill like 5 minutes.
They like mirror one of the shots. Yeah. All the lettering's backwards. Yeah. No.
Best.
Like, so movies, cars, like a lot of these like stand out. Like you were saying, Ian, like there's like one thing that like kind of typically resonates. Somebody is like kind of that secret knowledge holder. Like the first thing that comes to my mind is like why the Audi RS8 or RS6 Avant in the movie Layer Cake was like the perfect car for that main character, right? And like
Which one is Layer Cake?
there was a yellow Range Rover in it as well. It was like
What movie is that? I don't really recall.
It was a gangster flick from like 2006-ish.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was 2004, and it has Daniel Craig in it. I'm a fast Googler.
Yeah,
and it was one of those ones that kind of came out in the early 2000s. That like there was all those like indie crime heist movies that came out after like
post Guy Ritchie. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was one of those. I've never seen it. Dave brought it up to me before. He was like, "I'm going to suggest Layer Cake to Talon," when we were talking about your tweet. And I thought he was talking about Short Bus, which is a very different movie and does not feature any cars or car chases. So I was very confused.
Like I just want to talk about On Golden Pond with someone.
Yeah, there's a boat in that one.
And I have thoughts. Yeah. No, but like what car folks can pick out of a movie that just happens to feature a car. Like there was one of those really bad Christian movies with Nicolas Cage where he played a pilot and he drove Left Behind, and he drove a Saab 9.3 convertible, like one of the really bad ones, like the era you had, Ian. And like the most unrealistic thing about the movie is that car starts every time Nicolas Cage tries to start it. You know,
well, that may have been his actual car, because I know he's featured like his own cars in plenty of movies because he has a bunch of them. Yeah. Like,
okay.
I saw a little tidbit about in that like terrible like 2010 like Sorcerer's Apprentice Disney flick.
Okay.
Had Nick Cage in it. Yeah, he has like a Rolls Royce in that movie, but that was Nick Cage's actual car.
He's like, screw you, art director. I've got my own. Like this is in his rider. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the TVR that he has is broken down, so he can't like push that onto set. So he's got to find something else, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, like this is a fascinating project. Yeah. It sounds like you're having an awesome time with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a lot of editing, but the recording is plenty fun. Then afterward it's like, oof, I got to do the other stuff.
Yeah, we'll have big ideas like that too, and then it usually falls to Dave to actually like put the thing together. And I'm like, "How's that going? We wrote a great script and had fun shooting. Are you done yet?" And it's like, "No, for a very long time, and I hate you now."
I didn't go to school for film editing. I'm not great at this stuff. Yeah. I'm learning Premiere as I go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, speaking of kind of a tangent, but I've also been doing just like kind of like a gameplay type videos as a like side piece to this,
Okay.
like specifically for racing games. And it seems like it's something so easy until you actually do it. Like it's just like I'm gonna play a game and I'm gonna talk over it, and then
Right.
just focusing on the two things at once is like a thousand times harder than doing one or doing the other. Like uh, basically you feel like you got to rehearse it like once just to figure out like what you're going to do and what you're going to say, and then the
Yeah.
second time around like it's actually going to be interesting. Otherwise you're just like sitting there and you can't think of anything to say, or you're trying to talk and then you crash into the wall, and either way it's going to be awful for anybody trying to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever we've tried to do that, it always just devolves into us yelling at each other.
Yeah. So
Why we're crashing. Yeah.
exactly, right? So we'll do like a virtual track day every now and then. And this was pre-COVID. The key to like it actually being successful from like an audience standpoint, I mean, like the 12 views speak for themselves, but like but having a second person who's not driving that can either like narrate or just shit talk like what the other person is doing. That's because Ian is a fantastic driver. Like we go karting, he consistently beats me. He's a very, very good driver. He shuts up because he like locks in. That doesn't make a good podcast. That doesn't make a good YouTube video, right? So exactly. I have to be on the side, like being the crazy ginger, like trying to, rile them up, Yeah.
Yeah. And I already did one of those videos, which was Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which they re-released it, but it came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
so I was already like super familiar with all of that, so I had stuff to say, and I could also hold my own while I was doing it.
There you go.
And then I tried to record one earlier tonight, but I put it on, and it's not something I had a ton of experience with, and then I kind of had to shut it off because I realized like I wasn't making anything of quality. I'll have to attempt that one again.
But that's the thing, right? Like you have to write a bad song before you write a good one, right? Like you got to get that muscle memory up. Like when I listen to like our podcast, this is episode 281, like the sound of my own voice doesn't even rile me up anymore. Like it just sounds like just another person that I'm editing, Yeah. So that kind of stuff just gets built up over time. There's like, yeah.
I was watching that movie, Marriage Story, the other day with my girlfriend, and I heard like Adam Driver's voiceover at the beginning, and I was like, "Ooh, is that what I sound like to other people?" I feel like it's pretty close.
Yeah, Driver-esque. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Love it.
So you wrote an article for Car and Driver about folks replicating Hollywood's famous cars, right?
Yeah. It was actually all one shop that did all the ones featured on the article.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
guy up in North Carolina.
That's amazing. And like from looking at the pictures and stuff, like they do insane work. But like we see that so much throughout the automotive culture. Like it is like the movie themed car, like it will be like picture perfect accuracy, or just somebody that has just like vaguely made their car like they've slapped 2 Jurassic Park stickers on, and like and we're here for all of it, like the entire spectrum of that kind of like movie tribute. There was a white Dodge Magnum wagon in Denver where we are that was Ghostbusters themed, like that had like a bunch of stuff on the roof. Yeah,
I've seen that car, I think.
Yeah.
Unless it was another Dodge Magnum that they did up like Ghostbusters. But
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
the Comic Con in my city a couple years back, they had that Dodge Magnum, which I actually took a photo of it. I guess you could look at it and see if it's the same one.
Yeah. Incredible. Like I love all that stuff.
And I think it might just be Colorado too, but like I've seen, I'm going to say 3 different Jurassic Park themed. Yeah, I've seen an Explorer, not nearly as good as that.
Yeah.
But there's a Jeep that's actually really good. And then there is a pickup truck rolling around too.
Because it's pretty much just paint and then like some aftermarket off-road gear. Which,
Right.
If you want to get it exactly correct, the off-road gear is actually difficult because it's all stuff that was made in the 90s.
Right. The period stuff, right?
But if you're not 100% accurate with that, like nobody is really going to notice unless they're a huge dork.
Right.
But yeah, the Explorer was super cool because they chopped the roof off and they put TV screens in the front and back, which were like period CRT monitors. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And then you know, in the film, it's a self-driving car, or it's supposed to be. They pretend like it is. So there's no gauge pod in the movie car, so they actually deleted it on this car, and they replaced it with like a digital cluster that you can pop in and out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's amazing.
You see on the front of that too, there's like an old like security camera, which
yeah, like a CCTV camera.
Exactly.
Oh, right, yeah, because they had that in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also put on YouTube a while back a walk around of pretty much all of these that you can also check out.
Amazing.
Yeah, but
Did you take all these photos at their shop? Was this?
I didn't take these particular photos. I took some of my own, but it was Mark Urbano. You can see under there. He's he's been with Car and Driver for a while. He takes amazing stuff.
Yeah, these are great.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Pretty much every cover is like done by him, I'm pretty sure.
Amazing.
The Blues Brothers car.
Yeah, I love that one too. Which I didn't get any footage of the donuts, unfortunately. I left my video camera back in the warehouse in the back.
That's so amazing. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, but he completely destroyed the tires doing that. Like once he was done, there was just wires left.
Hey, right? Freaking send it, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Worth it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then I mean, like, how can you see a DeLorean in your daily life and not think like of Back to the Future and want to wear a puffy red vest, right? Like, I mean,
exactly,
right?
I mean, there's some DeLorean nerds out there that kind of resent the popularity of Back to the Future, but obviously he isn't one of them,
right?
And then, and then the cool thing about the DeLorean as well is that he made sure to like seek out like all of the junk that they made the time travel equipment with. He like found exact copies of all of that, pretty much exact copies. Some of the stuff like he had to fabricate because it like didn't exist, like the like vents and stuff. You know, you had to make those out of aluminum, but most of it is just like equipment from like the 60s through the 80s that they just like bolted to the car, and he had to track all that stuff down.
That's amazing. That's so great. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the base on the Mr. Fusion right there.
Yeah.
The one right there is made of plastic, but he casted it off of a hard drive for a missile guidance system from like the 60s that the Air Force used. Yeah. And he showed me the actual original one that he has.
No way. That's so great.
So those are just cooling fins then.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's crazy.
There's a lot of heat sinks and stuff on the car too.
Yeah. That aesthetic I'm here for, right? Yeah. Passive cooling aesthetic. Yeah.
Everything looks cooler with heat sinks. Like
yeah.
It's true.
Right? Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Like the detail on the remote control is insane. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's
wild. Which the remote was basically just a a helicopter like remote control from the 80s, and then they put a display on it.
Nice. Amazing. Yeah, no, that's so great. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cars and movies, man. Like, like we've talked on the show about like the cars of the Office cast members,
That's
right?
exactly
Like,
what I was just going to say. Like the thing that I like in storytelling is like when you can tell they thought about it. Like there's lots of examples I think we can think of where you kind of the opposite of that, where you're watching a movie and you get taken out of it because you're like, that character would never drive that car.
Especially when they get the wrong period, that kills it. Yeah.
Right. That's really bad. But occasionally you'll be watching something and you'll be like, oh, that's really smart that they're driving that car. Like I think Breaking Bad had great car pairings, and then The Office was fantastic with that.
right?
Yeah.
Do you have any things that you think of like as far as like pop culture, either television or movies where a character's driving a car and either it's a horrendous mismatch or you're like, oh no, that like gets to something about that character?
Yeah. Have you either of you seen the show Veronica Mars?
I have not.
I have not. I'm aware of it.
Yeah, in Veronica Mars, like she drives like a 96 maybe. There it is.
Oh, the Chrysler LeBaron. Okay.
Which is great because she's living in like she's going to like a rich school, but of course she's not rich, so she has a terrible LeBaron. But then like the preppy kid drives like one of those like I don't know what color you call it, like electric yellow, like Nissan Xterra, which is perfect for that
Okay.
role.
Yep.
Classic like California douchebag car. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure
yep.
There it is. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got like the snorkel on it too.
Nice.
Right. And it's always like pristine, clean. Yeah.
Nice.
I get it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the other thing, so go ahead.
In the new season, she also drives like a Hyundai Tiburon, which is a great upgrade, I guess.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I would rather have a Tiburon than a LeBaron.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of a weird lateral move, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, and how can we like forget like Vanilla Ice and the Fox Body Mustang, right? Like, I mean, that's just like blazed into our memories, unfortunately. Fortunately, unfortunately.
Vanilla Ice was a little bit before me, but
okay. I'm dating myself as the oldest one on the podcast this evening.
I wasn't allowed to listen to Vanilla Ice. Okay, well, I'm going to transition us into our kind of like signature game that we play on the show, FMK Cars. So it's based on kind of just the classic game of Fuck, Marry, Kill, but we play it with cars instead of people because we're nice. This one, I'm going to bring it back to cars, but I was inspired to write this one because I went to go see a concert. I went to go see Gary Newman, who is famous for writing the song Cars. But now, if anyone who doesn't know, is a like kind of like a hardcore like industrial act. So he's very, very heavy industrial music, and he, is head to toe in leather with a lot of eye makeup and like every smoke machine in a 5-state area on the stage.
right.
And he was coming on the show. He was into his first number, and there was just like so much smoke and so much like strobe light and so much like roar menace. And I turned to my friend and I was like, this is like 5 minutes before Blade shows up. Because at the beginning of Blade, there's that like rave, and then the blood comes from the thing, and that was the vibe of that moment. And so I decided,
Matrix.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna write an FMK Cars that the catch with the cars is there's a vibe from a movie. Okay, so this one's called Hold on a Second. Red foam, industrial influenced house music, strobe lights, crazed dancing. Oh shit, Blade's about to show up, isn't he? Cars with a movie setup trope twist. So this is going to be the first act of a movie, a trope from that part of the movie. All right. So the first car is a Maserati Quattroporte, any generation you want.
Mhm.
The mood in the car is the getting the band back together phase of every heist movie. Also, you have to make 6 stops before you get to any destination to pick up passengers. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So that's the vibe in the car. The next car is a Mercedes S500. You're in
Is
the
that
beginning.
dumping a body vibe?
No. Close.
That's a good vibe. Yeah.
You're in the beginning of a Judd Apatow movie when the male protagonist is being shown as immature with his idiot friends before he's tamed by the female lead.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And then the last one is an Alpina B7. Again, I'll give you any generation you want. It's a music biopic. Do you say biopic or biopic?
Depends on the mood, I guess.
Yeah. I'm going to go biopic. I'm going biopic tonight. It's a biopic night. It's a music biopic, and you're just about to give up on the grind right before being discovered. You are having a fight with your first wife in the car, because I always, get it. It's the first wife. All right. So those are your 3 choices.
All right. Not too familiar with all these cars, honestly. I'm pretty poor, but
I have driven 0 of these cars, but I have very strong opinions about all of them.
The B7.
This is the internet.
Did the B7 ever have the V10 in it?
I don't think it did.
I think they stuck with a
V8.
the V8 and possibly forced induction.
And the later ones, yeah.
Yeah, I would probably want to crush the Quattroporte, because who needs that? And then I'd keep the Mercedes around, and then I'd want to go in for a romp in the B7.
Okay.
All right.
So,
all right, Dave, what would you do?
I like the getting the band back together vibe. Like, I'd probably pick more on vibe than I would car. And I would deal with the Quattroporte, because you need that that cheerleading, getting the band back together vibe and
all those people to help push.
I was just gonna say to push the car down the road. Yes, thank you. Yes, and then for some reason, I really like these big slabs of Mercedes Benzes. I don't know why. I know it would be a horrible decision, and the air suspension would be a nightmare and all of that stuff. But I don't know. I want to live that life for one day, right? Yeah. That's what I would want. Just a taste, an amuse-bouche of Mercedes Benz, S-Class life like that. Yeah. What about you, Ian? You're not a band back together vibe kind of guy.
No, but I am a Maserati Quattroporte kind of guy. So I'll just wear earplugs and ignore everybody. And I'll deal with that, and they can just help fix the car when it breaks. And then I'm going to crush the Mercedes. I have to try out the Alpina, because I've been obsessed with those cars for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, they put their name on anything, and we're listening. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've got to be living in the Quattroporte capital of the world, honestly.
Really?
Here to Charlotte, this is Quattroporte territory, and it's always a 90-year-old black woman who's got the church hat on at all times.
Yes.
Yeah, they have every Quattroporte, I'm pretty sure.
That's so interesting, because we don't see them that often up here.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an odd car scene in Denver. It's pretty bananas. Yeah. We see Fiskers every now and then,
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Fiskers around here too. But yeah, so for a Gran Turismo, it's some George Clooney looking guy on his way to a golf course. If it's a Quattroporte, then it's a 90-year-old black lady on her way to church.
That is a vibe I'm into. That is awesome. Yeah.
Interesting.
We in one of our previous episodes we we formulated like a mental health self-assessment for us, for Ian and I, we used how close we were to buying a Craigslist Quattroporte as an indicator of our mental health at the current time. We're working on some flow charts. I got a lot of like sketchy whiteboard drawings. Yeah. So
I mean, I'm that way with like a Trans Am or something of that
okay.
nature.
Like 80s Trans Am, or like we talking like forced like the Ram Air? Which one?
Like the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which what I actually want to do is get one of those 3.8 V6 Camaros and just like slap a turbo on it and see what happens.
It's the Underwear Gnomes episode of South Park, like 3.8 plus turbo.
Also, I don't know if anyone has ever said like such a delightfully crazy sentence in such a like just very straight down the middle delivery. Like, I just want to see what happens. I love it. Yeah. I'm into it, Talon.
I'll just get the cheapest turbo I can, and then if it just pops, then I paid like $1,000 for it anyway. Who cares?
Right. And those 3.8 motors, I mean, like, one of us probably has one within like 2 miles of our house right now. Like, it is in a junkyard for like $50 right now.
There's probably one in like 50 yards from me, which I owned an Impala that had that 3.8 in it, and I love that car. It was an awful car, but I loved it. I did not change the oil in that car for as long as I owned it. I owned it for about 3 years.
What year Impala was this?
2000. So like the first year of like the front wheel drive.
Oh, okay.
Also known as the golden age of General Motors.
Yeah. Which
everyone calls it.
Great car, would do front wheel drive burnouts all day until I actually put new tires on it, and then suddenly it wouldn't do burnouts. Which is crazy.
I can't imagine the connection there. I don't see how either of these things are related.
Yeah, exactly. But mine was the maroon one right there, but it had much worse paint.
Okay.
It had like the knockoff like SS wheels on it that had fake carbon fiber in the hubcaps, which I love. But yeah, I did not change the oil. I would dump like a fresh quart in it like every 5 or 6 months.
Right. Yeah. If you burn it off fast enough, then you don't have to change it.
Exactly.
Right.
And somehow the head gaskets went. I don't know what happened there.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
So give us some more car history. Like you're painting a very interesting picture right now.
Yeah, well that was my first car, and since then I've only had my Honda Pilot, which is it's completely what do you call it? It's uninteresting, I guess, with the Honda Pilot, because I just crank it and it starts. So
right. I mean, there is an aspect of your life where you don't want to have to worry about that kind of stuff, right? So you have a Honda Pilot, right? Like, I mean, there are a dime a dozen here in Denver for sure. Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, right. Okay. So besides a Chinesium turboed 3.8 liter Trans Am, like, what else do you have your sights on? Like, what do you pine for?
Couple things. My like forever car that I want is like a not like showroom quality, but I want a decently nice 1985 Supra. Okay. That maybe I'll put an engine swap in it, like a 1JZ turbo, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. But I mean the rest I would probably leave relatively stock. Sure. I mean, you can't easily modify these things. Like, you need to custom make a lot of stuff. But I just love the design of that car. Yeah. It's like it's basically like a Japanese Fox body, and I love the look of it. Which when I was like 12 or 13, I saw one of these in a field listed for $3,000, and I was like, "Oh, I need that car." And not $3,000 anymore.
No, they're not. No. They're super cool though. I also really love the Celicas from like the a few years before this, like the late
Yeah,
70s Celicas are just so rad looking.
The
I had a
Celica was mostly the same, but it had a different front end.
yeah. I had a boss that had this Supra, and this was in 2005, and he was still driving it, right? And I think he may have been close to the original owner. He had it forever, and honestly, like, I'm not kidding, he didn't change the oil in that either. He just had the filter changed, and he kept adding oil, right? And it was full of muffin wrappers and stuff like that, like just the daily pastry shop coffee run just stayed in the footwell. And finally, it had like over 200 some odd thousand miles. It was on its original set of brakes because all he did was downshift. And and he finally traded that in for a Toyota Sequoia.
That's so crazy. But that was probably long enough ago where that was like on the bubble between, like, there's that interesting thing that happens where it goes from like being just like someone's old car to someone looking at it and going like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was definitely the former. Yeah. So,
but as far as another project I would love to do, a cheap project, is to take like a cheapest like new edge Mustang I can find V6, hopefully with a manual, and then dump that engine out of it, find a wrecked Lincoln Mark 8 in a junkyard somewhere. You know where I'm going with this.
I do.
Because the Mark 8 has the dual overhead cam. Don't say double overhead cam because some commenter will rip you in half. Dual overhead cam. It's happened to me. It had the dual overhead cam 4-valve V8, which was pretty much the only application of that at the time. And it makes like 300 horsepower. So just stuff that in there, and you got basically a Mach 1 for no money.
Right. Yeah. Also, how sweet does one of them look on bags, like hard parked?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. No, like I've always thought these cars were cool. That was like very much like when I was in high school, like the cool kids' dads had these cars, right? And Ian, you and I saw one at a chump car race, right? It was It was doing quite well. Like
it was fast. Yeah, they take all the weight out of it, and it was pretty quick. Yeah.
I did a vlog which I just uploaded today about factory sleeper cars, and I put that one on there.
Yeah.
Oh, you watched that one? Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Because I think I have a factory sleeper. I have a 2008 Lexus LS 460 that is debadged. Right? Yeah. And I was going to tell Ian the story on another episode, but I actually had someone try to race me recently, and like try to street race me. Like I call it like I'm very much an old man. And so it is my old man sedan, my older man sedan. I had an Infinity before that, right? That was the original old man sedan. But like I was driving, I work in healthcare. I'm an IT guy for healthcare. We did a big vaccine clinic at Coors Field here in Denver. And so I was going to help out with the vaccine clinic, and I was driving down the road at like 4:45 in the morning. There's no one on the highway. It's like 65 mile an hour speed limit. And I'm so tired, and the caffeine hasn't hit yet. I'm going like 5 to 10 miles an hour under the speed limit in my old man sedan. So I'm out super early in the morning. It's not even light yet. I'm in an old man car, and I'm going under the speed limit, right? And this
what you don't know, Dave, is that every morning while you're asleep at 4:30 in the morning, your Lexus goes out on its own and just goes to an old country buffet at 5 miles an hour under the speed limit, and then just drives back, and it just makes it back before you're up.
That makes a lot of sense. That's a lot of things fitting together. But like I had this guy like in a Cadillac CTS-V sedan pull up next to me, like I heard him downshift twice, like bah, bah, and then take off, like, and I just sat there in my straight up sleeper that could probably take him or at least run with it. Right? It didn't sound supercharged.
Maybe Gen CTSV you could keep up with.
Right? And like, I'm not gonna do anything, dude. Like, yeah, like this, like. I just let my sleeper be a sleeper, like right now, you know?
Which the first gen CTSV was kind of a sleeper too, because it looked like just a standard car, but it had a LS3 in it, I believe.
Yeah.
Before they did the supercharged ones.
Right. Yeah, no, this guy had like probably I don't know if it was a real carbon fiber hood or a vinyl wrapped carbon hood, whatever. It was, it was dark. I couldn't tell. It was like, all right, dude, like whatever, like, yeah. What do you, I couldn't present as more of an old man at that moment than if I had an old country buffet in the car and somebody's trying to race me. Yeah. So I don't know. Love factory sleepers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it was interesting that you had the Mazda 6 on there. We've been talking to folks about the Mazda 6, the Speed 6 quite a bit.
Yeah, we just had somebody on who just recently replaced one.
Which the Speed 3 was like my dream car in high school. And now that I've done that video, I kind of reignited that passion, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should do those because so many of those have been trashed, but maybe I can find one.
Yeah, if you could find one stock, it would be interesting. It was so those two cars had the same engine and transmission, right? But then the Speed 6 was all-wheel drive. The Speed 6 was like weirdly boring to drive. It was fast, but it was not exciting. Like it did not feel exciting at all. But the Speed 3 was bonkers. And it was like, so much torque steer. Like, I mean, it was like almost undrivable, but it was hilarious. It was, I mean, I think at the time I was looking at that car, I was also looking at my car that I bought, because this was like a first gen Mazda Speed 3. So I have a 2004 R32. And this was like in 2010 I was shopping. So it was between that and like a Focus ST and like the Mazda Speed 3. I was driving like all of those like hatchback specialty ones I could find. And the Mazda Speed 3 was definitely the worst car of all of them, but maybe the most fun. Does that make sense? Like it was not like, I think if I was on a track, I would not be fast in that car compared to the Focus or my car.
But for a daily that you can romp every once in a while, I think it's just fine.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Which I got like a sim wheel recently, and I drove like the Mazda Speed 3 in Forza, and the impressive thing was that they totally modeled the torque steer. Like it'll just dart.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean my love affair with that car started, which my father, he had a New Edge Mustang, and pretty pathetic because he was like, I don't know, 42 at the time, and he was like drag racing kids like downtown in Idaho.
There's a phrase for that.
What's the phrase for that? Arrested Development?
That was a midlife crisis, but
yeah. So he had this New Edge Mustang. It was the 2-valve, not a lot of power. But yeah, we happened upon this Mazda 3, and it just blew the doors off of him.
Oh my god!
Yep. Yeah, and that's when I started liking that car.
Yeah, that's like the opening scene in your biopic or biopic. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I dig it. No,
I like how, Dave, I admire your restraint for not going like, let's unpack that.
Which part of it?
I fell in love with the car when it beat my dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What were you and your dad out doing? Just looking at metaphors. Just looking at metaphors.
Yeah.
Yeah, why do you have that mark on your head? From symbolism, smacking us straight in the head. Yeah, yeah, I like that. No, that's almost a Freudian event. Like that is awesome. Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. But,
You've come to the wrong place.
Tainting cherished memories, the Apex
this
Edition
is therapy
podcast.
right here.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Just slide your copay, into our Twitter DMs. Yeah. No, that's I don't know. Like the Speed 3, like Ian, when I was shopping for the Infinity, you were trying to get me to take a look at those, and kind of relive the hatchback, but I took a decidedly old man turn and picked up the M45. So, yeah, I don't know. I like them.
Yeah, I was just going to say that shopping process was crazy because you were cross shopping some just like truly insane things because it was like, and truly you were considering like M45 Infinity or Mazda Speed 3, which like,
right.
How many people cross shopped those cars for the same purchase decision? One person.
Yep.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. We all go through our process. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you guys, I think we did a car show. This was actually more car focused than most of our shows end up being.
Oh yeah.
And this one was ostensibly about movies. So we did a good job. Talon, is there anything that you would like to point the people to? Maybe a Twitter feed or a YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, just Motor Friend, YouTube. Same thing on Twitter and Instagram. I just had to put an underscore in the middle because other people had stuff that like don't even have existing accounts, but I can't do anything about it. But yeah, so go there. Drivin Theater reviews. Check them out.
Motorfriend.net.
Yeah. I mean, you can click on that. It's bad.
Yes. I'm here for it.
I designed that website in 2017, and I was like, I'm just gonna make it bad on purpose, and then I never changed it. So,
yeah, no, it's giving me vaporwave vibes, and I'm into it.
Yeah. Which I reposted the Car and Driver one there, but I had like a bunch of like phony articles on here that I just made for jokes, and that was like how I got started actually, because one of the writers with the Drive saw that and was like, hey, you're good with words, come hop on in. And then I wrote stories for the Drive for like a year after that. So that was neat.
Right on.
Yeah, every opportunity I've got, I just like fell into. Even the Car and Driver thing, like I just sent like one DM and that's how I got into that.
All right. Well, had we known it was that simple.
And then I apply for like real positions and never hear back.
That we can relate to. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, folks, definitely go check out Talon and his Twitter feed, which is great, and also the YouTube channel. In the meantime, we love you, everyone. Goodbye.
All right. Have a good night.